So I have a confession to make.
I'm all ears.
I like women.
Oh my God.
You okay?
I can't believe it.
You okay?
Can't believe it because I got a confession too.
What?
I'm gay. I've been living this lifestyle forever. I know it's no surprise, but still.
Oh my God. I don't. Oh, it's not a surprise to me. I've been hanging out with you for years. Come on now.
See, we all got our secrets.
Yes, we all have our secrets.
And before we start this interview, not interview,
The review, yes.
because it felt like an interview for a second.
Yes, it did.
This movie, I will say one thing that made sense that I believe every person should follow. This movie says,
Yes.
follow your own truth, live your own truth.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree 100%. We will be talking about Love, Simon, and it's definitely an interesting movie here, and I definitely loved the trailers. You loved the trailers. We definitely were anticipating watching this movie, and I want to know where you want to start with this movie, sir.
Well, just to talk about the movie, to give you an idea, the trailer is it's a coming-of-age tale where a guy is afraid to come out because he does have this kind of, I don't want to say too perfect, but this cliched perfect life, has best friends, and, he's kind of popular, and, has a wonderful family, a little too perfect, but his life, he doesn't want to destroy that perfection, that cliche. And he's afraid, just like you are afraid to come out. But what I like about this is it showed, I've seen a lot of coming out movies, me being gay, I've seen a lot. And what I liked about this, it involved the internet, it involved the emails, it involved an actual Gmail account, not some phony email. And it showed basically the progression of how fantasy turned into real world. Because there was a lot of fantasy in this movie, but there was a lot of real world dynamics. And it showed basically he needed that person to inspire him, but what wound up happening, he inspired himself. He found the strength in himself to get inspired to be able to do what he did, which changed him as a person. He was still the same person, but there's a line in the movie where it says, and Jennifer Gardner says this, you can now exhale. She said he was holding his breath and now he can exhale. And me being a gay man, that felt inspiring because your whole life, you hold your breath, and when you can finally exhale and be who you are, it's not just about being gay, but whether you want to be an actor, a lawyer, a doctor, political scientist, politician, and your parents don't approve or your friends don't approve, to finally be able to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to live my truth and be who I am, it's a sigh of relief. You're exhaling. You're not holding your breath anymore. That's the point I had to make.
Oh, it's a good point you make. I do agree with you a ton. And, the movie has a great message to it. And there's no denying that. The idea of being yourself and being who you really are, and hopefully everybody being understanding of that. It's a great message to have, especially in 2018. It's great. I love that message a lot.
They showed the message of tolerance, which I like.
With the message of tolerance as well. I really like that a lot as well. And you know what? It's interesting because you have a movie that came out not too long ago called Call Me By Your Name, which is sort of a coming-of-age tale, but that takes place in 1983. And there's no sort of cell phones. Well, there's no cell phones. There's no modern technology. And I think with this movie, what's great about it is it deals with the aspect of, look, we're dealing in a world now where basically coming out and being who you are now is maybe a little bit tougher to do now.
With the bullying.
And with all that stuff.
The school had its own website called Creed Secrets, which, if you know, I don't know at the whole country, but I know at least in New York, I know my nephew's school, Liverpool, has a website for the students. I know a lot of schools now have these student-based websites that are student-created, so where all your secrets are told, all your stuff. So when he said that, and he knew everything was going to be exposed, you see this where his friendships kind of got tattered a little bit, where he was blackmailed, and therefore he was forced to do things he didn't do. And he finally said, enough is enough. He stood up. He was being bullied. And there's another part in the movie where they show these two jock kids being bullied, and the vice principal says, enough's enough. Like tolerance.
Yeah,
you need to
tolerance.
accept them, apologize, and they meant their apology because they realized how stupid they were.
You need to accept people nowadays, and I know that certain people are just very hard-nosed and will never do it, and I get that, but we live in times now where it's like come on, they're exactly like you. You don't need to be
But
afraid
what
of
I
people
like
no
about
more.
this too, it just doesn't show the gay dynamic. It shows, I don't want to get too much into it, but it shows Jewish people. It shows
Yes.
black people. It shows interracial relationships. It shows that dynamic where in this day and age, you got to accept somebody no matter what religion they are, be it, even if they don't have religion, even if they're atheists, black, white, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever they may be, whatever life they're living, we were all created for a purpose and you got to be equal. And that was the point I got from the movie. Like, this movie showed so many dynamics.
Well, for me, and I mean, let's get into it a little bit. The idea that Simon is somebody who is a senior in high school, and the idea that he has what he considers the perfect friends and the perfect family that he has, and he loves life. The only thing is that he has this secret that he is so afraid to tell people because he just feels like it's just gonna be like dominoes dropping. Everything's gonna be ruined because of it.
And remember, it was partially.
It was partially,
His
yes.
relationships were tattered a little bit because of things he did to keep his secret. And I think a lot of times, people who keep any type of secrets, not just being gay, but any type of secrets, when you're not true to yourself, your relationships, your family life, your whole life's going to suffer. You got to live, be who you are, and be proud of who you are.
Absolutely. And the idea is that basically he has this secret and he is contacting this other person named Blue, or codename Blue, I guess. And the idea that they're trading back and forth, the idea that he has his secret and Blue has his, but they don't know who each other are or is exactly. And the idea that he, through messaging him and emailing him and everything, he realizes, wow, I'm falling in love with this person. And he's constantly throughout the film, who is this person? Who is this person? And he has scenarios where he's going through his head, oh, it could be this person, or it could be that person, or oh, this person over here, it's got to be this person. You never know
Until the way end.
until the way end. And in a lot of ways, what I like about it is that look, being in high school, God, I fucking hated high school.
So did I.
But that was high school back in the day. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like.
Cyberbullying, Facebook,
God,
and
I
Instagram,
can't-
and Snapchat. People commit suicide over
God,
it.
I can't even begin to imagine it. And the idea is that he has to be extra super careful and everything. And he's trying his best to find out who it is, but yet not, like, making sure people don't know what's going on. And it's all the secrecy aspect of it. And you just feel bad that this is, I mean, that's what it was like back in the day too, I imagine. But nowadays it's even more.
I absolutely. People say it's easier, but I don't think it's easier because you have so much of the social media and sites where you have to be super careful because you tell one person, it could spread like wildfire.
Yeah, it really can.
And
I mean,
what I like about the movie is it shows how, for a high schooler, you're mostly shallow. It's popularity, who's popular. And it shows the movie these kids are tolerant. At first, they're not so tolerant, but then they get tolerant and they see the bullying. And at the end, you see all these kids in high school. They're clapping for him, cheering him, taking pictures. They want him to find his true love. And the only thing I don't like about it is a little fictitious. They never saw each other until the end, and they instantly fell in love, which is cool. In real life, I think you have to see somebody, but not necessarily true. I mean, I know couples that they meet each other on dating sites, Match.com, Chemistry. They fall head over heels as soon as they meet each other. It doesn't matter what they look like.
no, it doesn't matter.
I have a friend of mine, lesbian couple. They actually have a daughter. They have a daughter together through artificial insemination. The girl, they're my, is 350 pounds. Her girlfriend's 150 pounds. And they love each other. It doesn't matter about weight, size, looks.
No.
And I see it in straight couples. You see a big guy with a skinny girl or a big girl with a skinny guy.
Doesn't matter.
It matters. True people that don't look past looks, I think that's amazing when you could do the whole online thing and not see each other until after.
My thing about it is that, for me personally, what I really find fascinating about this story is it's somebody who is just an everyday person like you or I. But the moment that they come out, suddenly the opinion of that person changes.
True.
And that should never be the case at all. And I think with him, I think the fear of it is like, oh my God, because in the movie there's this other gay kid who is in the school and he's a very feminine gay kid. Still seems like a normal person, but he feared it because of that. He feared, oh my God, I'm gonna get picked on like this guy, ostracized or whatever like it. And thankfully that ended up not being the case. But I mean, the movie itself, I do have to think, is fantastic. I think the acting is fantastic across the board with this movie. Jennifer Garner, who plays the mother, does a great job.
I thought she was brilliant. She said a lot of memorable quotes that a mother would say. And you see the father, it's not that he's not accepting. He doesn't talk a lot afterwards. And that's, a lot of fathers don't know how to respond. They don't know what to say because they are shocked.
Yeah.
They are a bit surprised. It's like, oh, wait, my son is this way. And it's like, they don't know how to respond. And all his father did, I can't believe I didn't know. And he blamed himself. The father said, I should have done something. And he cried and said, I should have. He said, Dad, it's okay. And it shows the family unit being strong. And it shows his friends. At the end of the movie, they were a little pissed at him because of what he did, but they got together. I mean, the acting was just... this kid,
Nick Robinson.
Nick Robinson, great name because I'm Nick too. But I thought he was brilliant, and I do remember him from Jurassic World.
Yes, he was in Jurassic World.
He was one of the kids in Jurassic World, and he did a great job in that movie. He was the nephew of the director.
I think he was the older one. Yes,
he was the older one. He was the nephew of
the person who was running the
person running Jurassic World, and he did a great job. The other guy, the father,
Josh Duhamel, I believe.
Josh Duhamel, who was in Transfers, I thought he marvelous.
Yeah, and the friends I thought were great. I can't remember.
I don't know what
them.
movies they were in, but they were brilliant.
The one actress I do want to say is really good is Alexandra Shipp, and she played Storm in X-Men Apocalypse, and she also was in a really great movie that I love called Tragedy Girls.
Oh, Abby, you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, she was Storm a lot, but she was a brilliant actor.
She was a brilliant actor. She did a good job. All of them did a great job, and I also have to say that the comedy is also really good in this movie, too.
All the little things they have to guess who the person is, and all the little stories. I thought the little stories in between. There was one point, which we know is not true, but they show it. What happens if straight people had to come out and say it was straight, and they show the parents' reactions. And we know it's fictitious, but that part, I'm not going to blow out for you, but it was just so funny. That part, we were dying laughing. Yeah, that's what one of the parents was doing. I mean, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. The acting was great. The director, you told me who the director was.
Greg Berlanti,
who directed
the
Heartbreak
the Heartbreak Club or something.
Heartbreak Club, romantic comedy, which I never saw. I heard great things. I heard great reviews. And he didn't direct a lot of movies, but I have to say he's an up-and-coming director because the movies picks this movie to say anything. Great crew, great acting. They all melded together. Yeah. The cast, the humor, the comedy. It was serious when it had to be serious. It was romantic when it had to be romantic.
Yes.
It was comedy. He didn't try rushing the movie.
No.
He told the full storyline. He showed there was not always a happy-go-lucky movie, but it showed funniness. I really liked his directing, and I will definitely see other future movies he makes because I think he was brilliant directing. And, we saw his career because the romantic Heartbreak Club came out 2000.
It came out in 2000.
18 years ago. And since then, he's only directed about 5 movies.
Yeah, he hasn't directed much.
So, I think he's very specific on what type of movie he will direct. Not saying I hate Steven Spielberg, but even some of Spielberg's movies, he was directing too much.
Yeah, he directs a lot.
He directs a lot.
Yeah.
And some of them are not always great because he's directing so much. Now in his career, he can be very selective. This guy, he's not directing tons and tons of movies.
No.
He's being very selective of what he directs. And I thought the acting was great. I thought the clothes, the clothes they even showed in this day and age, the different type of clothes they wore. I thought it was very cool how they showed it was new age. The cell phones, they were using smartphones in the movie, which I thought was very cool. It was very, very modern. The high school was very, very modern. It was just...
the teachers were very modern.
The teachers were very modern, and you had teachers that I was proud. There was one point in the movie where the teacher saw bullying happen, and she cursed at the students, told them off, knocked off bullying, and she didn't even care if she lost her job. She was going to stick up for Simon, which she did, and it just showed how, she was cared about the students. So I love the acting. I love the directing. I love the modernity of it, the whole story. I just thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, it was a really, really great movie. And again, I think this is a movie that really, I think a lot of young kids should see this movie. It's the same thing that I thought of, like something like a movie like Wonder. Even though Wonder's really not about coming out, it's about the idea of acceptance, the idea of tolerance and everything like that. And this is another great movie for people to really watch and really like say, okay, you know what? Yes, they're not, they don't date the opposite sex, but does that really matter? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think this movie teaches tolerance and acceptance.
Yeah.
We're in the movie theaters. And the part with the teacher, I heard people in the theater, you go. They're proud of the teacher. And then you have a part in the movie where Blue stops talking to him, permanently measured because he got scared.
Yeah.
And people are like, what a dick move. You see people, and these people, there wasn't a bunch of gay people in the movie. A lot of them were couples, boyfriend, girlfriend. There was a lot of straight couples. And they were just cheering on this kid, Simon, like he's one of us, cheering him on. He's the unsaid hero, and they're cheering him on. And the movies, it was just good. I mean, even people were talking this time, but they were rooting characters on. And I was inspired by the movie.
It's definitely an inspiring movie, and like I said, I think it's really a really good, solid, and brave movie to do now.
You know what was another inspirational movie we saw, which I'll mention again, which you should watch these back to back, because even though they're not directly involved in each other, Detroit, remember?
Oh, Detroit. Yeah, I don't know if that's an inspirational movie.
Detroit was inspirational where they showed how they fought back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how they fought back.
Yes. And that was racial crime. And
racial
they fought
crime
back.
and everything.
This is gay, and I think both movies are inspired in different aspects. And I say, if you ever get a chance when this movie comes out, buy it or rent it.
Yeah.
But rent it with Detroit. Watch Detroit first, watch this after, and it will be a mega filled night. There'll be lots of popcorn, junk food, and maybe 2 Domino's pizzas.
That's a weird double feature, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's a weird double feature.
I think it would be a great double feature. What do you want, a Disney movie with this?
I don't know, but the Detroit...
How about they watch Little Mermaid and watch this movie?
I don't know. Like I said, I would say something like a Wonder, and then this movie, or like Call Me by Your Name and this movie as well. Something like that. Detroit's pretty extreme versus Love, Simon.
Oh, I think it'd be good.
Okay, I would like to see your movie nights, I'll tell you.
I have some interesting ones.
Oh,
Let me
boy.
tell you.
Holy shit. No, look, I think the movie is incredibly brilliant, and it's based off of a book which I've never read before. But I definitely am just hoping that maybe more of these movies get made, because they're really, just at the end of the day, they're inspirational stories.
I think more inspirational stories need to be told.
So
a lot of movies coming out are just stupid comedies, or I don't mind comedies, but they're just, the humor is not there, they're not funny, or they're trying too hard. This movie didn't have to try.
Like, we saw some trailers before the movie that was really like there were comedies, but they were trying way too hard.
I think we watched about 8 trailers, and I looked at Seth, I said, now, one of these movies do I want to see? And he says, really? I said, not one of them, none of them. And I'm normally not like that. Normally there's 1, 2, maybe 3 movies I say, I want to see. This time I was like, I don't want to see anything. The stuff they're coming out with, they are right. When it's springtime, they don't come out with good movies. Summer and winter is when they come out with excellent movies, in my opinion.
Well, again, as I said, a lot of those comedy trailers that we saw, they just didn't do anything that, like you said, they were trying really hard. And I think with this movie, it was effortless. And I thought, and I appreciate that
that doesn't just have to do with acting, that's directing.
That's the directing.
When they have such chemistry, all those actors had chemistry, it made the movie flow. Remember how I said, would you take a movie with a good storyline versus bad acting?
Yeah.
And I said, I will take a movie with bad acting, good storyline, versus a movie with a good storyline and bad acting.
Well,
but this movie had both. Great storyline, great acting. It just flowed.
It really honestly did. I mean, what are your final thoughts and grade rating on Love,
the only
Simon?
thing I want to say, the actors in this movie were believable.
Yes, at the end of the day, the actors were believable. And look, again, I don't know how high school students act nowadays. I'm far removed from high school nowadays. I don't know how they act, but one can assume that they act pretty much like what they do in this movie, and it just felt believable. It even felt believable down to the actual kid who ended up doing the blackmailing, and I won't really go into it with too much, but the idea that he's a normal kid, but he's somebody who is so desperate and so like wanting attention and people to and for him to matter to people, that he'll go out of his way to blackmail somebody, but
you have kids like that.
And
but he apologized at the end of the movie.
Yes, but you can't take back what he did.
You can't take back, because as I said, it's nobody has the right, and I didn't say this, to tell you when to come out, when your truth is. If you want to say, I want to be a lawyer, but you don't want to tell anybody until you enter law school, or you want to be a doctor, but you don't want to tell anybody until you get that piece of paper that says, I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Whatever your truth is, or if you want to be a fashion designer, or if you want to serve as a waitress, whatever you do or quit your job, nobody has the right to rush and say, oh, they're quitting, or oh, this, or they're converting religions. Whatever your truth is, you come out when you want to come out about your truth. And it's not just being gay, whatever your truth is.
Yeah, it doesn't
And that
matter.
guy took it away from him, which I did not like.
Yeah, so, and then that way, I mean, you can't take that away, but I understand what he was going through.
Well, we should wrap it up. We don't have much more time.
We should wrap it up. I mean, what are your final thoughts and grade rating?
Great acting, great modernity, great directing, great storyline. I would have to give it probably an A+.
Wow, boy, you are like handing out some of those A's.
No, this is the third movie out of like 15 I gave an A+ to.
No, you know what? Look, this movie is incredibly inspiring, and it's a movie that's incredibly well acted, incredibly well directed. Could you argue that this movie feels like a little bit of a fluff piece, a little bit? Maybe it's too fantastical as far as like the perfection of it is concerned at times. Yes, you could probably say that and you wouldn't be wrong, but I think nowadays these stories really need to be told, and I think for the younger generation, it's important that these movies get made and that they watch them and that they're inspired by them as well. So overall, it's got a great message and everything is really great in this movie as far as I was concerned. I'm going to give it a solid A.
There you go.
I'm going to give it a solid A. It's a really fantastic movie, and it just says, look, love who you love and
live your truth.
And that's a fantastic way to be, and it's something that we should all live by, I think.
Absolutely.
So, I'm glad we confessed. Is there any other confessions we have, or no?
No,
nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, I was hoping I'd get more of a confessional because I wanted to cry. I got tissues, man. Damn it.
I like pets. I like animals. It's not really a crying thing. I like animals.
God, you're terrible at this confession shit. All right, okay, jeez. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And we will be back next time for another movie review with less secrets and less, of me trying to cry. Because I'm a terrible crier, guys. I really am. All right. Take care, guys.